What is the difference between a gamified system that creates rabid fans and one that burns down your entire company culture? The answer might surprise you. In fact, the answer reveals why some of the biggest, most well funded companies in the world failed spectacularly when they tried to gamify their platforms. You notice how engagement is dipping. Therefore, you feel that pressure to add some game mechanics to boost the numbers. You might throw in a leaderboard, point system as a quick fix. What happens when you add game mechanics to your business without understanding the underlying human psychology? Don't just get zero results. You can actively destroy your culture, burn out your users, and ruin your product. I know this because I've spent the last 8 years interviewing with the world's top behavioral and gamification experts. And by the way, welcome to Professor Game. This is a show where we explore how games, gamification, and game thinking help us boost engagement. In fact, we're the #1 show in the world for this. And I'm Rob. Through my own consulting at the Octalysis Group, I've also seen firsthand how a $1 billion budget cannot save a fundamentally flawed behavioral design. And today, I'm going to break down exactly why 3 very well-intentioned ideas turned into expensive disasters. So you don't make the same mistakes with your product team. We're going to dissect 3 massive real-world failures. I'm going to hold back on the names of the companies for now. You'll see if you can perhaps guess them. And then we'll use the Octalysis framework to figure out exactly where the science went wrong for these examples. So let's start by imagining a workplace that is so stressful that pregnant workers are pushed to tears. Employees are skipping bathroom breaks just to avoid public shaming. That was a result of a single, massive flat screen monitor installed in hotel laundries in 2011. This global entertainment titan, which is also known for creating some of the happiest places on earth, installed a giant real-time leaderboard tracking exactly how quickly workers loaded pillowcases and sheets. Green meant fast, yellow meant slowing down, red meant you were failing. Employees dubbed it the electronic whip. They relied 100% on a toxic mix of Core Drive 2 development and accomplishment, Core Drive 5, social influence and relatedness, and Core Drive 8, loss and avoidance. But they entirely ignored other core drives like Core Drive 1, epic meaning, and Core Drive 3, empowerment of creativity and feedback. Therefore, it wasn't a game. It was pure surveillance. Who the company is, you might be wondering? Well, none other than Disney. So look at your own performance dashboards. Are they celebrating progress, or are they a version of the electronic whip? If you're realizing now that your internal systems might be leaning a bit too close to that electronic whip or other of the strategies that we're about to discuss, you cannot afford to just guess the solution. To help you navigate this safely, I put together a 9-day email sequence called Core Drives in the Wild. Every day, I send you a breakdown. Every weekday, in fact, I'll send you a breakdown of a real-world example from past guests in the podcast and from my consulting experience at the Octalysis Group, and I'll be giving you some of the insights. Head over to the link in the description and get the first case study sent into your inbox right away. So let's get back into the disasters. Imagine millions of daily active users plummeting into a catastrophic drop. Massive, leading gaming pioneer left scrambling. And why? Because players realized they weren't having fun anymore. They were working a demanding, anxiety-inducing second job. Very early in the 2010s, this company built one of the biggest games on Facebook. Their entire engagement model was built on the appointment mechanics. If you didn't log back in at a very specific time to harvest, you would have them wither and die. This is pure black hat gamification. It uses and relies very heavily on Core Drive 6, scarcity and impatience, and Core Drive 8, loss and avoidance. Black hat motivation creates a massive short-term urgency. However, if you're thinking of a game in terms of months or even years, you need to transition your users also into some of the white hat motivations. Otherwise, they will inevitably eventually burn and churn. The game that was Farmville by Zynga. Examine your retention mechanics. Are your users running and returning because they want to, or because they are terrified of losing something that they have within the game? Now let's get into this thriving, organic community of experts that turned into a punchline filled with spam, trolls, and useless one-word answers. It got so bad that the platform, this new system that was built into it, eventually had to shut down entirely. This massive web pioneer had built a Q&A platform where people genuinely enjoyed helping others. But they decided to gamify, to boost these metrics. They introduced a point system. You got points for asking questions and points for answering questions. They accidentally replaced the intrinsic motivation, core drive 5, social influence, with extrinsic motivation, core drive 4, ownership and possession. This is known in behavioral economics as the over-justification effect, throwing extrinsic points at intrinsically motivated people, and especially a community, does not enhance it in any way. It actually might kill its own soul. The platform, you're wondering? Yahoo Answers. So before adding points to a social system, ask yourself, does this reward the quality of the outcome? Does this reward the interactions? Or does it just increase the volume of the noise? So notice what Disney, Zynga, and Yahoo have in common. They aren't small companies. They had incredible resources, engineers, a lot of smart people, but they treated psychology like a simple UI feature. If you are designing a system for your employees or your users, you cannot afford to guess and hope you don't accidentally build a burnout trap. So protect your product, protect your culture, and let's get the science right. Head over to the link below and get the Core Drives in the Wild email sequence. Understand the science of motivation and don't let your gamification strategy be the reason to say that it is time to say that it's game over.